This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
Good morning and welcome to the Really Big Football Show. I am your host, B.A., along with James Martin, Keith Engle, and Jack Hirsch. I hope you gentlemen are having a very good Sunday morning, the last day of November.
What?
And without incidents, man, we got big college and NFL slate going on, playoff positioning for both. Yesterday was a great day in college football. Well, not me, because I'm a Michigan fan and Ohio State won. But anyway, we can start off with that because that positions Ohio State to contend with Indiana, who also won. What the heck is going on? And also won big time with playing Purdue, beat them 56-3. So that's going to be a Big Ten showdown next weekend. Number 1 Ohio State versus number 2 Indiana. How did you guys feel about Michigan State? I didn't watch too much of the Indiana game because I was watching the Ohio State game. But how did you guys catch the Ohio State Michigan game?
Absolutely. I had them on the split screen yesterday with the Miami Hurricanes, and Ohio State played really well. And I thought Michigan, they stayed in the game for most of it. I mean, they didn't get blown right out of the building. I thought they played okay. I still want to know why Michigan did get thrown out for headbutting the referee, but that's a totally different story. I don't get it. It was a big game for Michigan. I didn't expect them to win. I mean, if they won, they would have made this race for the 11th and 12th spots even more convoluted than it is today. But it's pretty much what I expected. And it's the first time I think they gave him a good test. I thought Ohio State needed to get pushed a little, and I think they did, or at least early in that game. And no big surprises here.
I can't remember another college team who has the same situation I had, because they're halfway there as Ohio State, to have two of the biggest games imaginable back to back, because the Michigan game is always massive. I mean, that's a must-win game always. That they haven't done it the last few years. It's what it is. But then Indiana as well. And you kind of wonder, can any team get themselves motivated sky high like that 2 weeks in a row? And they're human. I know what they're supposed to do. But can they really be up for the Indiana game after this Michigan game? Because they couldn't look past Michigan. If they didn't have the ghosts of Michigan hanging over them, then maybe they could have partly looked a little past Michigan while being ready for them and focusing a little on Ohio State, having them on their radar. But, Indiana, but Ohio State couldn't even think of Indiana going into yesterday's game. They had to put everything on the line. And will they really recover emotionally, for next week against a powerful Indiana team?
Kind of the sad part, Jack, is they don't necessarily have to, because whoever loses that game is still going to be ranked in the top 4 and get a bye, in my opinion. I don't think it's going to matter who wins that game, unless it's a big blowout one way or the other. And that's why now the conference championship games really, they're meaningless in my mind. And in some cases, it's the detriment for a team to have to go there and play.
But Keith, technically you're correct. But the perception is the winner of next weekend's game with Indiana, Ohio State is going to be regarded as the best team in college football. So that's motivation enough.
until they play again. That's all I'm saying. Right. I mean, it isn't good. I really believe when that last committee vote comes out, Indiana and Ohio State will be in the top 4 regardless of who wins that game.
I agree with you, Keith, in that regard. And last year around this time, we were talking about the championship games, and you were saying the same. You had the same sentiment, and I sort of disagree with you. But now, I got to be on the same page with you. I mean, looking at 2 top teams like that are going to meet in the Big Ten Conference Championship, as long as the game's not a major blowout,
yeah,
both teams are going to be in the top 4 still. They're still going to be in the top 4.
Some of them are going to be important. I mean, the Big 12 might be the most important because if BYU beats Texas Tech, well, they're getting 2 teams, and that's going to make it harder for those teams on the bubble to get in. So there's some interest next weekend. I'm not saying there isn't, but as we get deeper and deeper in this, and they add more teams, which is inevitable, especially with the argument we're going to have again this year about who's the best, who's the 12th best team in the country, which is kind of ridiculous when you think about it. They're going to expand, and I'm afraid they're going to expand even farther than I'd like. But these conference championship games will become less and less relevant, or they'll go away. I mean, you need tiebreakers to decide the conference championship in almost every single league you can think of. They had to have tiebreakers because of 16, 18 teams and no divisions.
Well, Keith, you said something revealing. The bowl games mean anything anymore? I mean, does the Orange Bowl exist? Does the Rose Bowl exist?
Yeah, they'll be part of those games. All end up part of the playoff system, right? They don't get played on New Year's Day necessarily. But the lower tier bowls, I don't even know why we have them. Who's watching the Bahama Bowl? I mean, really, I'd like to go to it, I guess.
I got all these names with bowls. This is hilarious. Yeah,
the Duke's Mayo Bowl is the most exciting.
Some of us watch Boston College against Syracuse still.
How about the Sarsaparilla Bowl? Nobody's drank sarsaparilla since Jack was 10 years old.
Right. Well, on the docket for the rest of it, we also had Friday, Texas A&M and number 3 Texas A&M and number 16 Texas played, and Texas got the better of them again this year, beat them 27-17. Although Manning's statistics weren't all impressive, that was a game you had to watch.
100%. He played really well. Second half of that game, he played really, really well. And again, as you said, too many people just get up and look at the box score and they say, Arch didn't play well again. Arch dominated that game. Well, the Texas defense and Arch dominated that game in the second half. The kid's growing. I mean, he's growing as a player. He'll be fine.
Oh, he looked like his grandfather with that 35-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
He's the fastest guy in the field. Oh, my gosh. He's amazing. He's going to be a good player. Just give him a second.
So let me ask you a question on Texas A&M. Do you think they were overrated?
No.
I don't think so. I think look at Texas got a lot of talent. As much they got 3 losses, they're still going to be in a conversation now for that last spot. They won't get it, I don't think. But they've beaten 3 top 10 teams. That's not a bad team they lost to. And I think it was just it was in Austin. It's a lot of the seniors. A lot of things were just in Texas's favor in that game, and I think Texas A&M is still a good team. I don't think they're going to fall that far. They'll fall out of the top 4 for sure, but I don't think they're going to fall that far.
Do you think Texas gets in the top 12?
No. I think there'll be a lot of rallying for them, but you can't put a 3-loss team in. And I mean, you got a log jam at 2 losses with teams. I can't see it.
Oklahoma would have had to lost to LSU. That would have changed everything.
For Miami as well. I mean, a lot of these teams that are Miami's at 12, right? But they're out because obviously we got to fit 2 more teams in there.
Tulane.
Oklahoma, Alabama games were huge for the bubble teams yesterday. Those 2 teams needed to fall for people to move up, and that's not going to happen.
I said this to you before, Keith. I think the selection committee considers television ratings. They shouldn't, but I think they do, and Arch Manning means something for that. So if there's a chance to slip, Texas into the playoff picture, they will.
Yeah, even if they don't do it consciously, Jack, I think they probably subconsciously have it in their mind, or unconsciously in some cases, maybe. But it's have it in their mind that, the same thing with Notre Dame. Notre Dame, they get plus points because they're Notre Dame. So it's the way it works.
But speaking of Notre Dame, if you're in the playoffs, you got to be afraid of Notre Dame. I don't want to play them right off the bat.
100%. They're the top. Well, they're in the top 3 teams in the country right now, watching games in the eye test. In my mind.
Yes, absolutely.
The argument that the big argument now, and the big comparison you're going to hear still for another 2 weeks, 3 weeks, is Miami Notre Dame. That's going to be the one everybody's been talking about and will continue to talk about. And right now, Notre Dame's a better team. And is it the best teams? Do you want the 12 best teams, or do you want the teams that earned it? It's always the argument. We go back to Florida State a couple of years ago, which I'm still pissed off about.
But Marcus Freeman has them playing really, much, much better as the season's gone along. And they're kind of peaking, towards the playoffs.
Their defense has just been outstanding. And C.J. Carr's another guy who's gotten better as the season's gone on.
The rookie,
And Jeremiah Love is just Jeremiah Love. It's just top Heisman candidate.
I think he'll be a finalist, I think, and go to New York, I think, for sure.
Yep.
Love and Pavia, I think, are the 3 guys who get invited to New York.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that too, yeah. Number 4, Georgia 16, number 23, Georgia Tech 9. That was a tough game.
Hard fought, man. I thought more would be scored because Georgia Tech's defense has been atrocious for the last month or better. But it was a defensive battle and went right to the end. Haynes King, I like Haynes King a lot. You look at a guy who's overlooked in quarterbacks in the country. Haynes King is one of the best quarterbacks nobody talks about. And a guy I think to keep an eye on the next level. He's got some talent. He's not going to go high. I don't know if I think he's a senior. But he's a guy nobody's going to talk about. And he's going to go later in that draft, and he's somebody to watch for.
And Texas Tech, number 5, Texas Tech 49, West Virginia 0. Texas Tech's playing really good at the right time.
Yeah.
Number 6, Oregon 26, Washington 14. Number 7, Ole Miss 38, Mississippi State 19. Number 8, Oklahoma 17, LSU 13. That was a good game.
It was a good game.
That came down to the wire. I was surprised. I picked Oklahoma to win that game. Being an LSU fan, I wasn't expecting them to do much in that game. Defensively, they're still pretty much a stalwart. I mean, they can definitely. I mean, they're leading the SEC in interceptions. They showed why they were probably tops. They were tops in the league with interceptions as well. It's just offensively, and that's what they've been their Achilles heel all season. That's what got Brian Kelly fired. It's just that they couldn't do anything offensively, and obviously you don't have Nussmeier in the game anymore. You're playing Van Buren, and they look predictable offensively. And they could have won that game by all intents and purposes if they had a better offensive game plan. Because Mateer threw 3 interceptions, and they still won the game.
That's going to be the problem for Oklahoma. Oklahoma's in the field now. They're not going to play another game, so they can't lose. And they're a team that's better off not being in the Big 12 or the SEC championship, right? They're in right now, and they can only hurt themselves if they played another game. But I think they're going to be one and done because that offense is not good.
It got me to thinking, Lane Kiffin reportedly supposed to be going to LSU, and Ole Miss is not going to allow him to coach in the playoffs. One of the reasons, and I guess the primary reason, is the transfer portal. They don't want him taking players with them. College football should have a rule. If a coach leaves to go to another team, players could go anywhere they want in the transfer portal except with that coach. That should be a rule. That would have solved the whole Lane Kiffin, I think, dilemma. and he would have been allowed to actually coach the last game for Ole Miss.
The NCAA has got to make some major adjustments here, because you can't have the early commitment period be December 3rd, and you can't have the transfer portal on January 3rd and have coaches leaving for new jobs before then. And that's why they leave, is because they have to start recruiting in both places, right? The portal and real recruits. So they've got to change something. This will not be the last time this happens. And also, by the way, the last thing I heard last night, as I tried to get, because he was supposed to tell us what he was going to do yesterday. The last thing I heard was he is going to go, but what they're really negotiating is whether he will coach or not. That's right. What they're negotiating.
So my biggest problem with this whole situation, and I typically disagree with what Nick Saban says in regards to the NIL and how things have changed the game in regards to that new format. But I agree with him on this. I think that they should follow the NFL way of doing things. Yes, I definitely agree with that, because it allows the coach time to finish out his year. He don't have the pressure of leaving right off the bat. You also have the signing day coming up in December. A lot of that stuff should be later in the next season. The next year, to where you can push things off a little bit, and it allows time for the coach to be able to do things, like this. He can stay, like in a situation like this with Lane Kiffin. He can stay with the team, coach the team all the way through, and then leave. You don't have to worry about because now it's a big situation. The kids that are here now, it's unfair to them that are actually playing. Because you want your coach. You want the coach that got you there, the guy that recruited you, that's helped you get there, to be there when you're playing in the playoffs. And that's not going to happen, because they forced him into a situation where he can't do that. Because, like you said, he still wants to coach. He's taking a job, more than likely. By all intents and purposes, he's going to be at LSU, or say that he's going to LSU today. But he wants to be able to coach throughout the playoffs, and they don't want that to happen, because it's a conference rival.
James, let me just step in. You don't want to do it the way the NFL does, not at all. So many before the Super Bowl takes place, new coaches get hired, but while the team is still in the playoffs, those offensive and defensive coordinators have to give their current team their full energy. They shouldn't be off interviewing somewhere else. They're the hottest candidates, but they have to interview and commit to somewhere else. Otherwise, they're not going to get another head coaching job. So the NFL doesn't do it the right way. And I could see Brian's a little animated about that.
I agree with you full-heartedly, Jack, because I guarantee that playoff game had no full commitment for either coach when Washington and Detroit played. No full commit. I could tell in the play call. I can tell in the disarray of some of the plays and the players. They did not. They said, "Hell, I got a job. I don't need to worry about this game." That's basically, and that's just a human thing to do. So NFL, you're right about that.
But the NFL can easily change that. By the way, a lot easier than NCAA can. There is no January enrollment. That's the whole thing in college. They worry
exactly about. Right. That's the difference between the two. Yes.
You say, no, you can't talk to anybody till the season's completely over. There's no reason they can't.
Right. And then Lane Kiffin, reports have come out. Lane Kiffin has decided they didn't have a decision last night as of 8:30 because he thinks, he wants to coach.
You're right.
He wants to coach Ole Miss through the playoffs. That's one of his things. He wants to do that. And so I don't know. I know LSU is not looking good on that one. They're not looking at that as approvingly. They don't want that to happen because, again, of those situations that are going on off football. But if the dude wanted to do that, he came in there. He coached that team to get to the playoffs. So I would like to see him see it through. Then he can go to LSU.
It's the Ole Miss brass that doesn't want him to do that. It's the Ole Miss brass. They don't want him to do that.
I think they're doing the right thing, Ole Miss, for what it's worth. They're doing the right thing. Lane Kiffin doesn't want to be there anymore. I'd rather be somewhere else, put it that way. And it does have an effect with the transfer portal, and it has an effect the effort he puts in. Look, I remember the NCAA basketball championship game when Rick Pitino was coaching at Kentucky. They lost in the finals. he didn't seem even annoyed by losing the game because he was on his way out. He committed to go elsewhere. Once you commit to go elsewhere, I don't want to say you're going through the motions. Obviously, Lane Kiffin would still want to win, but when one foot's out the door, your commitment's not nearly as strong.
Well, there is a precedent already this year. Eric Morris is the North Texas coach, took the Oklahoma State job. He's coaching the rest of the way out for North Texas, who is still alive for a playoff spot. They're playing in the American Championship game next weekend. So there's a precedent already this year. Most teams will do that. And don't forget, it's not just Ole Miss, it's LSU too. LSU may say, you got to come now because we've got early commits coming here in just 4 days. 3 days, as I can't math.
And that's what Nick Saban was saying, that the early commits and signing days is too soon. That should all be next year to where –
I said this the other night, James, and it is about enrollment in January, right? But this is a freaking multi-billion-dollar industry. If they can make an important ACC game being played at 10:30 in Berkeley last night, the Atlantic Coast Conference, I believe is the name of the ACC, correct? But it's a big game's being played out in Berkeley. If we can have these coast-to-coast conferences, you telling me we can't figure out a way to get a guy enrolled late, 2 weeks after the enrollment period? They can make it happen, and they can push these dates. They have to, or this is going to become the norm.
You got to understand, James Keith is a little cranky because he actually stays up for those games at Berkeley and watches the full games. He's a little cranky this morning.
I did watch part of that game. I didn't watch all of it. Actually, that game wasn't at 10:30. I think it was at 8:00 or something.
Oh.
But still, why am I playing at Berkeley? It's an Atlantic Coast Conference game. That's my point. Jeez.
Yeah, playing Pacific Coast Conference now. Number 9, Notre Dame took care of business against Stanford 49-20. Again, we all kind of agree that that's not a team you want to see in the playoffs right now. Number 10, Alabama 27, Auburn 20. That was an interesting game as well.
Auburn killed themselves all night. They had so many chances they blew last night. They should have won this game. They really should have. And they played well. I give them credit for, that's their. It's a big game. That's the other thing too. I was going to say with the Ohio State Michigan game. There's so few of these rivalries that still have that feel, and the more teams you add, and the less you make these games important, I feel like it's going to go away. There's 2 that it hasn't affected. Michigan.
They should have made it on the same day, though. Those 2 rivalry games. They should have been spaced a week apart.
Well, rivalry week is rivalry week. They've scheduled these games like this for decades. So I'm all right.
Let's listen to Jack and change it up for him. He knows. He knows best.
Jack doesn't want to watch.
Father knows best.
I'll take it. No, that's okay. I'll take the hit on that. I'll give you that. But James, we passed by Lane Kiffin, after talking a little bit. Him coming to LSU, you're an LSU Tiger fan, a big one. Is Lane Kiffin going to make a major difference? I mean, is he clearly the best candidate LSU could have gotten? Was he a must-get candidate?
He's a splash candidate, I would say, considering all the people that were available. If I had to choose one, I'd stay in-house in Louisiana and look at John Summerall at Tulane, a guy he's made Tulane relevant. I mean, when's the last time Tulane been relevant?
Yeah.
So, that's another guy I probably would have looked at. But, I mean, again, the LSU, Louisiana is full of drama. You had the gambler in who's 2007? I can't even think of the coach's name. Les Miles. We had Nick Saban. There was always something crazy. Ed Orgeron. These are all guys that have won championships, but there was always something crazy about them. So why not add another 5th wife to the mix here and have something else crazy go on as well with Lane Kiffin? So I'm looking forward to it. Both the ups and the downs with that guy. So we'll see.
Summerall looks like he's set for Florida too.
Florida, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, and Kalen DeBoer, he the coach for Alabama, he did a very good job on those 4th downs.
How
ballsy? 4th and 1.
How ballsy?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else kicks you? I mean, I want Auburn to win to help Miami actually, but I'm like, how are you not kicking a field goal here? That takes some real balls there.
Hey, Dan Campbell, if you're listening, that's how you go for 4th downs, okay? Anyway, BYU, number 11, BYU, 41, UCF 21. That was a little shaky in the beginning, but BYU pulled away at the end. And, of course, Keith's number 12, Miami Hurricanes won 38-7 over number 22 Pitt. That wasn't even a competition. I thought that was going to be a little bit closer than that. They destroyed it.
Pittsburgh really hasn't beaten anybody of note that they played all year. They've gotten hammered by pretty much every team that was any good, and it wasn't much of a contest. Everybody's worried about the cold and whatever. Football players are football players. Unless it's below, the weather's not going to bother them.
Yeah, Miami quarterback Carson Beck played a really good game. I think at this moment he might be the most polarizing player to enter the NFL draft next year, where teams are going to be all over the place thinking whether he could be a franchise quarterback or maybe even a bust.
I'll tell you, they've got the best freshman in the country at Miami, and Tony too. This kid is good. He'll be in the Heisman talk next year, and Miami's going to have to keep recruiting him to stay as long as he's playing in college, because he's going to be getting a lot of money to play in his sophomore season. When the season started, he was 17 years old, Tony. So he was going to go to college. He was going to go to high school, finish his high school. He had another year. He could have stayed in high school, and he came out. He decided to come out, and he's been the most impactful freshman I've seen anywhere in the country all year. He's a dynamic player. He's thrown touchdowns in like 4 straight games. Great player.
Just a factoid that I just saw yesterday about Indiana. So Fernando Mendoza is their starting quarterback, right? Guess who's their backup quarterback? His brother.
Oh, yeah. I did know that. That's a great one. I did.
And he played in that game, as a matter of fact. So he played at the ending of the game there. So he did pretty well too.
Is there any other team in sports where brothers are backup? The only thing I could think of for years, Giannis on the Bucks would have his brother, be on the roster. But
LSU has 3 brothers, the Weak brothers. The Weak brothers are playing on the defense.
Defense, right? Yeah.
Defense.
That one's a back, not on the same team. One's a backup for the other at his position. That's what I mean.
Isn't one of them engaged to Lane Kiffin's daughter? Or
yes. Yeah. The starter, the star linebacker, Whit Weeks. Yeah. So maybe he has some pull too as well. Who knows?
If a player is good enough, there's no conflict at all. Remember with the Giants with Tom Coughlin, his son-in-law Chris Nee was a guard, but an outstanding one. So there's no conflict. If the player's good enough, the player's good enough. No one's going to whisper anything.
Right.
Unless you're Triple H and married to Stephanie in the WWE.
Well, Triple H was good enough. The Philadelphia Eagles, when Dick Vermeil coached the Philadelphia Eagles, he had his nephew on the team returning kicks. His nephew really wasn't that good. And the way Vermeil talked, you got the feeling he was doing it as a favor for his sister in a sense. Living with the guy on the Eagles, with his nephew.
This is true, Mike. We act like it.
We do.
So what do you?
You don't have to know what you're talking about. You just have to sound like you know what you're talking about. That's all.
Exactly.
Oh man,
I mean, there's people that get paid a lot of money to do that.
Worse than we do.
Yeah. So who do you guys got as your Heisman front leader at this moment?
Mendoza's mine, only because. Personally, I'd like to see Jeremiah Love win it because running backs don't get any love. Sorry for the bad pun.
Hey,
I'm stealing James's thunder a little bit. So do a little. But I think Mendoza win it because he's got the most. He has the most obvious Heisman moment. That 37-second drive to beat Penn State. That's one that people are going to remember. Nobody else has that one signature moment that you're going to think about when you go in and vote. So I like Mendoza to win it, and I think the 3 I gave you will be the top 3. Love might finish second. and Pavia third, or vice versa.
True enough. I can't even argue that.
Yeah, Mendoza, that pass to the back of the end zone to beat Penn State at the end. But
there was three of them in that drive.
But no one really stands out. If this were another year, would Mendoza even be invited to New York, let alone winning the award?
Good point. It's a bit of a weak crowd.
And you got to give a lot of credit. He has to give a lot. He probably needs to give that guy a steak dinner for catching that ball and tapping the feet in. Because first of all, it was a great pass, but it was a great catch, even better catch.
That kid made two great catches on that drive that kept it alive. Well, kept it alive and then finally got the touchdown. So, yes. I think every quarterback who's ever won has had a guy like that, though. So.
Right.
So you don't feel that Julian Sand could be part of that Heisman?
He'll be in the conversation, but I don't think I think people are going to think, well, he's got the best wide receivers in the country. I think they're going to excuse away a lot of his success. He's still very good, though. I mean, you don't complete 80% of your passes just because you stink and you're lucky. Sand will be in a conversation next year. There's always, I think the fact that he's a freshman might hurt him as well. Because voters will say, well, he can win another year.
Guys, remind me again, when does voting close? Is it before the playoffs at the end of the regular season? Is it allowed to go into the playoffs at all?
No, it's the award is given out. It's only open a week or so because the award is the same night as Army Navy. So it's 2 weeks, right. 2 weeks from yesterday. So it closes after the games end the next Saturday night, it opens. Maybe they can vote now. I don't know.
Well, invitations sent out to the finalists before the final game is played, or they wait till right after the final game?
I think you'll find out shortly, into that week before the Heisman. They'll invite the finalists.
Will there be 5 or just 3?
Usually, it used to be 5. It's been 3 the last few years. They
I don't know, though.
By the way, we don't even know that they're the top 3. So they just invite 3 guys.
Are you talking about the pass from
Mendoza?
Because Mendoza was getting hit while he passed that. I mean, he was getting smashed when he passed that ball.
But the kid, what he's saying is, though, the kid had to make an NFL catch in order for that to actually work. I mean, when you look at it, he barely got the toes in. I mean, and had to make that. He had to jump and come down, and he put both feet in. Looks like so. That's what I'm saying. It was a catch. It was a combination of both. But he really needed that guy to be like spectacular, and that's what happened.
Yeah, I may have said this wrong. I think the voting closes shortly after next week's games. That's what I should have said. I think.
But if 2 guys are very close, doesn't that rush the committee to make a choice rather than sit back a couple of days and fully evaluate it?
Maybe. But as Michael's saying, they can vote now. So some guys probably already got the vote in. And the problem with when writers do it, no offense, Jack, when writers do it, some of them are lazy. They haven't even seen freaking games. They're just voting for what they read about or hear about on.
So that should conclude this week's college playoff push. Now, I just got one to throw in there. Navy beat Memphis and Army beat UTSA, setting up 2 weeks from now the Army-Navy game. So that's all I watch. Go Navy.
Brian, you should know better. Before you wrap it up, I have to ask Keith just the latest Belichick update. Because, James talked about making a splash in college football with Lane Kiffin. We saw how the splash worked at North Carolina.
Well, I thought it might crash and burn from the beginning. I thought it was very high chance of it. And the last I heard, North Carolina is still looking for a job for Bill Belichick and pay him $30 million to go away. But
and let's not compare North Carolina to LSU, my guy. I mean,
wait, didn't Drake May come out of North Carolina?
And so did Lawrence Taylor. But I mean, when's the last time they?
There's talent there. I mean, come on.
I mean, yes, here and there. But I mean, as a team overall, when's the last time? Give me the last time we won a championship.
Never.
Yes, exactly.
Have they even won their? Have they even won their
time in history?
Have they won their conference?
They have won the ACC.
Yeah.
They haven't won anything else.
You know, who would ever thought this if we had this as a debate question? If we proposed this a few years ago, who's a better coach, Bill Belichick or Deion Sanders?
That'd be
In
worse.
college? Come
I
on.
would have said differently, by the way. Who's the worst coach? I think Deion walks after this year, by the way. I think you're going to see Deion resign, retire for health issues. I really do.
I think it's the health issue stuff. Yeah.
No.
I think this year is taking a toll on him out there. It's his worst. It's worse than his first year there, and I really think he may move on.
He has had his moment against his players, that's for sure. I think there's a couple of times that he got caught on some cameras. He was going off on his troops there.
He tends to do that.
He's doing it. I think a little bit more than necessary because of his health issues. I think everything's just coming down on here. So you're probably right about that.
He can coach again. I just think he's ready to get out of this situation. I think, and he's got a good reason to do it.
Well, if he's ready to coach again, I'm surprised Florida didn't consider him for the job. He may have been a natural to go over there.
I think the downfall of that program and his health probably played into the fact that he wasn't a contender for any of these bigger jobs.
Mm-hmm. But he got his foot in the water, so that's good for him.
He did. I think he'll be back. I think he may take a year or two off, and you may see him
get his health together and just cheer on Shador.
I think he likes the job. You know, he's not a bad football coach. When he went to Jackson State, I thought this was just going to be a clown show. I really did. And then I saw some behind-the-scenes stuff of what his program was about, and he's a pretty good molder of young men. He really is. And I have to give him credit for that. The hype that follows around it, I mean, he created it. You know, he created that Neon Deion character, right? But it's not him really.
He marketed himself well.
Yeah, and it's one of his assistants, Marshall Falk, who's his assistant there, just got a head coach.
Marshall Falk just got a job. Yeah,
at Southern University. Yeah, absolutely.
Good for him too.
I'm going to say this, and before we go there, Marshall Falk, if he walks in a room, he's usually the smartest guy in the room. A lot of people don't know this. I mean, if you can sort of see that as when he played running back for St. Louis, and he's incredible, and I think he's probably going to be an even better coach.
Yeah.
So look out for Marshall.
Deshaun Jackson,
football players know the game
too. By the way,
Delaware,
he may be up for the Cal job too. He did a good job at Delaware this year, and he may be in the mix at Cal. That's where he went to school, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Michael Vick, how's he making out as a head coach?
Michael's had a rough year. Very rough year.
I think I only won one game.
Yeah, one game. Yeah.
There's always next season, but anyway.
Not when you only have one win.
Maybe.
Well, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
So heading on to the National Football League. We had some games earlier in the week, thanks to Thanksgiving. And I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, by the way. On Thanksgiving, there was 3 games. Again, I don't really want to talk about one of them, but we have to. Green Bay beats the Detroit Lions 31-24. Green Bay is 3-0 in their division right now. Probably takes the Lions out of the contention of winning that division. Yeah, way out for winning that division. And
Danny, not the biggest Michael Vick fan, you might catch on.
Yeah. And so that's Detroit Lions. And, people are saying, "Oh, they're 7-5. They're still in the mix. They do have to play Dallas next. We'll get into that later on. But they got to play Dallas next. Dallas is looking really good, by the way. That was another team that played on Thanksgiving, and they beat the Kansas City Chiefs 31-28. Now, this comes off the fact that they beat the Eagles the previous game. So they beat 2 Super Bowl contenders, one a champ, one second fiddle, in a matter of 2 weeks. Of course, they played them in Dallas, but that's regardless. You won against 2 Super Bowl contenders. Did you see Dallas kind of hitting their stride right now?
a little
It
bit.
might not matter. If Dallas doesn't run the table, they might not make the playoffs. They need at least 4 of their last 5 games to win at least. If they go 3-2, they're not making the playoffs. They're 2 games behind the Eagles in the division to overtake Philadelphia, and they're 2 games behind in the wild card position too. They just got to take it a week at a time, keep winning, and see where it takes them. But I'm going to tell you, the game next week between the Lions and the Cowboys, very crucial for
Huge
both
game.
teams.
Huge.
Very crucial. I mean, the Lions, it's not just a question of stopping the bleeding. They're in serious danger not making the playoffs. If they lose to the Cowboys, they're going to be in a desperate position because winning the division for the Lions is practically out of the question now, practically out. Because between the Bears and the Packers, they're not going to overtake both teams. It's just not going to happen.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, what an important game next week when the Cowboys meet the Lions.
When you go ahead.
Sorry, Jane. Who would have thought that Thanksgiving Day, say in September, that we get to Thanksgiving and the teams that we are in trouble after those games are over would be the Eagles, relatively speaking, but there's issues there. The Lions, the Eagles, and the Ravens in trouble, but the Cowboys and the Bears and even the Bengals to some extent are trending in the right direction and maybe in a better position right now than the teams that lost. And I just wouldn't have thought that a couple of months ago. I'm impressed with the teams that won these games more than I am disappointed in the teams that lost. So.
What I was going to say is you probably got to look at the Cowboys a little bit differently. Not just the Cowboys, but look at Jerry Jones. I mean, we were giving them they look like a clown show. Let's just putting it lightly, prior to this, where they are now. And Jerry Jones has made some moves that look like it's very favorable for the projection of the rest of their season. He sent out for Quinnen Williams. He's been a stalwart on that defense. So since he's gotten there, hopefully he stays healthy, Jack. I mean, you can look crazy all you want. I don't know what to say about that, but he's really helped that defense out. And
don't listen. Jerry said he would have traded Micah Parsons in the number 1 draft pick for Quinnen Williams. I would have made the deal in a snap of the finger. Are you kidding me? If I could have gotten Micah Parsons in the number 1 for Quinnen Williams is going to have contract issues next year, and he was going to have it with the Jets. It was going to be a distraction. It was starting to become one very gently. So it was a good deal for the Cowboys, good deal for the Jets. It's win-win. But let's not get overly excited about the Cowboys. It's 6-5-1. To put in perspective, them and the Eagles each have 5 games left. If the Cowboys go 4-1 the rest of the way, and I think they'd sign up for 4-1 the rest of the way, the Eagles have to go 2-3 for the Cowboys to beat them out.
You know what?
They may.
But, I mean, unless Philadelphia is going to have a free fall the way they did a couple of years ago, it's not going to happen. They're too good to lose 3 of their next 5.
They were too good in 2023 as well, and yet it still went down the toilet.
It's possible. Granted, I'm not saying it can't happen, but the Cowboys are still a bit of a long shot. And when you look at the teams that are ahead of them for the wild card, the 49ers, Seattle, they have to make up 2 games on those teams. They have to make up 2 games on the Packers, and even if the Bears slip back, that's even a bigger problem. It's going to be hard to make the playoffs. I mean, the Cowboys essentially got to go 4-1 and hope they get a little bit of help.
You can't have this conversation, though, without giving Brian Schottenheimer a little bit of credit, because this team could have gone rails easily early in the year.
Yeah.
Schottenheimer's done a great job there, with nobody thinking he would or could. And I think he's done a fabulous job. And I love the fact that he gave a little shout out or whatever you want to call it to Tom Landry at the end of that game when they did the little bounce on the offensive line at the end. I thought that was kind of cool.
And Eberflus is starting to. He's picking his parts of the game where the defense is stepping up, and he's starting to get that defense together too. I think he just needs players, and I don't think that defense doesn't have enough players right now.
He's a good coordinator. Was in over his head, coaching the Bears, the head coach, but he's a good coordinator. So I think they'll get better, and they're getting better. Yeah.
And
just in the fact that he left the Bears, and then what happened with the Bears defense when he left? It went all the way down in the toilet.
Yeah.
So I'm not buying that. He's not a good coordinator.
Also, give Jerry Jones some credit as well in regards to taking George Pickens.
Donna, let's not do that, Donna.
I've always liked Jerry. I haven't been a big critic of his like other people. But what do you do, James, with George Pickens with his contract status going forward? Because if they franchise him next year, he's going to be unhappy. It's going to be all over the news. The media is going to be all over Jerry Jones's case. It's going to be Micah Parsons revisited. So what do you do with George Pickens, a temperamental guy? If you give him the money, he'll be happy. He'll produce. Reportedly, he and C.D. Lamb are buddies. They get along, which is very helpful. So they don't have a 1 and 1A. And Lamb has his money, his contract, so he's not beefing. But what do you do with George Pickens based on 1 year? Do you give him the big money?
I think with the big year, you give him that either number 2 money or franchise him, and is what it is. I mean, I don't think who's never been unhappy in the big top circus down there. That let me tell you, it's always the guy unhappy there, but you're going to figure it out. I mean, Jerry may end up paying him. You saw what he did with Dak Prescott, with C.D. Lamb. I mean, he gave him money. I mean, who knows? He may pay him, but I don't know. I think that the situation. I think Jerry's more concerned with, like what Michael said. They're more concerned with what's going on now, and they have an opportunity to right the ship, like Keith said, and potentially get in the playoffs. Because I just don't trust Philadelphia right now.
There's more going on.
Speaking of that, the other game was the Eagles and the Bears on Friday, Black Friday, and I'm telling you what, the Bears impressed the heck out of me in that game.
Wow!
Wow! And I'm telling you, I said if they beat Philadelphia, I definitely would be impressed. But they beat Philadelphia. So
they're for real.
I am really impressed. Yeah, hey, that defense is awesome. Even without half of their players.
I made Jack admit he would say they were for real if they beat the Eagles, and they beat them handily.
I wasn't surprised they were winning their games this year, but I did not regard them as a Super Bowl contender at all. But now I've had to change my tune. They're in the mix as one of the teams that could go to the Super Bowl. Absolutely.
They have an issue in their league. They're ahead in the North, as you know, but they're only 1 and 2 in the division. That could come back and hurt them if we end up with tiebreakers. So
yeah, they definitely have to win out basically in all
the division
games. Yeah, they got to win a division to take, because right now in the Green Bay, they got to play Green Bay twice.
Yeah, but Green Bay's a half-game margin. The tie Green Bay played with Dallas means a tiebreaker won't count. And who wins the division between the Packers and Bears? Someone could be a half game ahead of the other.
Yeah, these they got to play their next 3 games. 2 of them are against Green Bay. Like I said, one's in Chicago, one's in Soldier Field, and the other one's in Green Bay and Lambeau. So we're going to really see what both of those teams are about when they play, because that's for the division title, basically.
So
I kind of given up the Lions, but.
Well, for one of them will be a wild card as long as they play well the rest of the year.
Yeah.
One thing about besides the talent, a young team having talent on it in the Bears, offensively particularly, one thing that helps bring about wins is confidence. And the biggest thing you see is the confidence in the coach and how it trickles down throughout the team. And it was captioned. When the coach is in the post-game situation, the coach got his shirt off. He's flexing. And they're all punching him in the chest and hitting him. And they're all screaming. They're excited. I mean, this is what it's about. This is what NFL is about. And you're going to see the Bears continue to expound upon the success that they're having right now. So kudos to the Bears. And watch out for anybody who's playing them. If they continue on this trajectory and get to the playoffs, they are definitely confident. So let's see what happens there.
Very similar to what's going on in New England is with the coach and the player dynamic. Culture means everything, and that's where Philadelphia is lacking. The culture is just messed up.
Yeah,
coaching.
I mean, some coaches take a bad knock. Nick Sirianni's been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years. And the one year he didn't go to the Super Bowl, he went to the playoffs, and everyone is going to be calling for him to get fired if they collapse. It's ludicrous.
Well, that collapse they had in 2 years ago was just epic, and you can't do that 2 out of 3 years. If that happens again, he's gonna be in trouble. At least he nearly got fired that time. He was this close to getting fired after that collapse in 23. I mean, you can't that locker room is got to be a mess. It was a mess in 23, and I got to believe the same kind of stuff is going on right now. And we talked about it last week. I know we talked about Wednesday night, but their team on offense without a plan. They're just like, okay, it's time to throw to AJ. Okay, it's time to throw the ball to this guy. That's what their offense is.
It's Nick too.
But
Nick
you know,
too. I'm sorry, it's Nick too.
Yeah.
I gotta be critical of you guys. I'm going to tell you why. Part of the problem is this. When they were winning, oh no, as long as you win, everything is good. You know, look at their record. They're the defending Super Bowl champions. I keep hearing. You know, now they lose a couple of games and you guys are talking, all this smack.
I've been saying this for about 6 weeks, not 2. I mean, that's, again, I didn't just jump off their bandwagon the minute they lost a game. This has been a problem for a number of years. Nick Sirianni didn't come into question, and his leadership didn't come into question. I know he won a Super Bowl. I get that. Players sometimes can win Super Bowls despite the coach. I'll give you a couple of examples if you need them. But
I wouldn't mind a couple of exampple.
Well, now you can put me on the spot.
You offered it, Keith. Come on. I mean, you could do it with a quarterback, Brent Dilfer quarterbacking the Ravens, that you don't always need a great quarterback.
The leadership question with Nick Sirianni has been here when he was taking teams to the Super Bowl. So this isn't new in the last 2 weeks. This isn't new.
Flipping off fans. I mean, you got to look at Sirianni in this light. I mean, he fits into the Philadelphia scene because he's just as rude as the Philadelphia fans are. So, I mean, and by the way, if anybody knows Pags, I saw him on that game. They were playing Chicago, and that dude did not look happy.
I've never seen him look happy. He got to be happy when he goes to the bank, I guess. But
part of the problem with the Eagles the last couple of games, their offensive line is getting a little worse as the seasons went along. That was their strength. That would cover up deficiencies.
Allowing Mekhi Becton to go out in free agency was a bad idea. I think they showing that they really needed him, particularly with the type of offense they ran. They used the tush push a lot. I mean, and outside zone running schemes, it's just not working with what they have right now. And I mean, because you have a guy that just ran 2,000 yards last season and was just running out of control. Now he's got half that at this point in the season.
Disappeared. That's the problem with they don't have a plan on offense. If your offense is not centered around Saquon Barkley after what you saw last year, you're doing something wrong. It's not hard. I'm not a brilliant offensive football mind by any stretch. I can see who the best player on that offense is, though, and they don't.
And as a Saints fan, this makes me happy because it tells me that the future's bright with Kellen Moore because that's who they're missing as well. The guy that helped. Yeah,
I think though with Philadelphia's offense, it's easier it's easier to fix that because all you got to do, I mean, you're not Kellen Moore, but the obvious things are standing out. You're not having Hirsch run as much as he did last year, which would throw off the defense. So that Saquon can run, and that's not happening this year. And then the receivers were getting some love last year, but now they're not because they're trying too much to establish Saquon. If they're trying to do, I don't know what they're trying to do on offense. That's the point. So they don't have an established offense. It is the offensive coordinator, but I think Nick needs to take some of that rap too.
Well,
before Keith leaves our
Ravens and Brian Billick, by the way, one example I can think of, Jack, off the top of my head.
Yeah, Brian Billick wasn't a bad coach, right?
And I think that he had a great defense, and they think he rode that. I don't think he's a great coach. There you go. That's my one. I had to come up with one before I got
You're giving Rex Ryan the credit, the defensive coordinator.
Yes.
Then
Yes.
Rex should be a head coach.
Mike Ditka. How about is it?
I was going to say, yeah, it's another one. There you go. With his Rex Ryan's father.
Great players, not a great coach.
Trust me, I saw that in New Orleans when he came down there and blew the draft up by drafting Ricky Williams and gave up all the draft picks.
I had to come up with at least one example for Jack.
That was a popular pick at the time, though, getting Ricky Williams. He was a high, big name.
For 10
but all your draft picks? Come on.
No, I didn't like the deal. I'm just saying Ricky Williams was considered,
he was out there smoking with Ricky when he made it.
Oh, he was great. He was great. I mean, when he left, he had a couple of good seasons in New Orleans, but it just wasn't worth everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we have just a smaller plate of games today because of the 4 games that happened during the week. We're going to start with Keith's Monday night game, the New England Patriots going against the New York Giants at New England. How do you think that's going to fare out for you there, Keith?
The Patriots and injuries are starting to pile up, and it's starting to worry me. I worry about peaking too soon. I'm a worrier. I'm a worrier. And the Giants are still playing hard. We talk about teams that are out of it that play hard. The Giants will always play hard against the Patriots. They always have. When they stink, when they're good, I'm a little worried. But I think if we can keep Drake May upright with whatever is in front of him on that offensive line come Monday night, I think they'll be fine. You're going to start to see you've seen Henderson start to break out. Butte's back and healthy, which is huge for Drake May. Stevenson's hopefully rounding back into playing shape after not playing great coming back last week. I think it's important this team finishes strong, so I think the Patriots will win this game. This time I'll say handily. Last week I was worried. You guys I got accused from Danny Fuller, I think, of sandbagging. And no, it would be tough at the end. I think this might be a 2-touchdown win for the Patriots.
Jackson Dart is coming back. So he'll be running the offense. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't lead with his head.
I like how you pronounced Kevin's name there.
What I say?
Booty.
It's
booty.
I have a hard time with booty. Did I say booty again? I have a hard time.
You said boutte. Yeah, you put the little spice on it. The French. It's boutte. No.
I want to show I got a little class. So.
Yeah.
Like
it's Pirates booty.
He's definitely not playing like booty, that's for sure.
It's been a huge season for him because they were worried about him being a bust up until now, and he's played great.
How do you be a bust as a 5th-round draft pick? I'm going to say that Keyshawn Boutte was an excellent player at LSU. He had a lot of off-the-field stuff, and that's what dropped him. So, yes. In retrospect, technically, he could have been a bust. Because he probably should have been, by all intents and purposes, he should have been like a 2nd or 3rd round draft pick. So
exactly,
yeah, but he's a good player.
So big win,
okay.
Patriots.
Oh yeah, I got them too. As a matter of fact, next game on the docket.
Well, me and Jack didn't pick. Let's pick real quick.
Oh, okay, go.
Yeah. Well, we were just on a debate show. On the debate show, we were talking about whether or not the 2007 Patriots was worse than the 73 loss 73 win team that lost the championship in 2016, Golden State Warriors to the Cleveland. Yeah, is this a revisit of that type of game? A good quarterback in the dominant Patriots versus a great defensive line of the New York Giants? No. Not even close. I just think that the Patriots are going to blow this game out of the water. Go Giants. Probably not, sir. I don't think so. But yes, exactly. But I like the Patriots in this game, and I like them to win by close to 2 touchdowns.
The Patriots have been outstanding this year. They've proven me completely wrong. They're a year ahead of schedule. What they're doing this year, I thought they'd maybe do next year, but certainly not this year. I thought they'd be like a 6-11 team, and they went transition. So what an awful prediction by yours truly. But they've won a lot of close games. Let's be honest. They haven't been a dominant team. They've been a winning team throughout the year, but not a dominant team. And the Giants have lost so many tight games. You know what the Giants are this year? They're what the Bears were last year in part. And look at the way the Bears turned it around. I'm going to go out on the limb. I'm going to pick the Giants to win, beat the Patriots, because they got to win a close game. They got to win one of these close games. The Giants should have won about 5 extra games this year. For whatever reason, they let those games get away some way, somehow. They blew them.
At Foxborough?
I think their defense is coming up with a big effort today. It's not going to be a high-scoring game. I could see a 19-17 type game. And the Giants have always had New England's number. Keep that in mind, okay? For some reason, they've had a hex over New England, and I think that continues today. And when the Patriot winning streak gets snapped, you'll hear all the murmurs, those damn Giants. What's with us? Why can't we beat them? They're not that good, we're going to hear the Patriot fans saying. But I'm going on the limb. I have another upset late on too, but this is one of the upsets. Giants 19, Patriots 17.
The only people that are going to be saying those damn Giants are those damn Giants fans.
They have played hard. I'll give them that. They played hard. They have not quit. I'll give the coaching staff credit for that. The team has not laid down. So. Well,
kudos to Jameis Winston. He played really well last week, but one game didn't get us excited that he should be starting the rest of the way. But
he played good before that, too.
Filled up his stack a little bit.
I got to go before Zach keeps pumping up the Giants. Got to go.
Have a great one, Keith.
Right, Keith. Guys. Have a good Sunday, Keith.
Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, that's true, but I think they can stop Dart. I think Winston is another beast. And Winston's been playing. He played well in the Green Bay game too.
Yeah,
he had. I mean, they've been the Giants in general have been playing. Remember they destroyed Philadelphia. They beat the Chargers. They were in like 3 or 4 other games that they lost. They almost beat the Denver Broncos in Denver. Remember, and they just fell apart. And they almost beat the Lions in Ford Field. And they fell apart. Well, bad decision making by the coach.
Exactly. And if they win those games, we look at them as totally different. They've been a really good team 75% of games. They've been a real good team, and they've been a horrendous team the other 25%. If you want to look at an approximate, percentage.
So the reason why Jameis Winston still has a job because his talent has never been in question. There's a reason he was drafted number 1 overall. There's a reason why he won a Heisman as a freshman. He's super talented. His decision making, which was always a question. He would throw balls. I think he got a little lucky in some moments in college when he would throw 50-50 balls. And a lot of his receivers were big guys, and they would catch the balls. But he tried that in the NFL in his decision making. And he's a gunslinger. He's a guy that's going to throw the ball. He's got a short memory. He's going to forget he threw 5 interceptions, 2 for 6 picks. He's going to still try to throw that one pass that's going to try to win the game. And so that's just where his Achilles heel is, just that sometimes his decision making was just boneheaded.
He's not the starter. Everyone knows that.
Right.
He's not starting. He's the backup now. I'm just saying he did himself some favors. He could possibly Winston turn into another Geno Smith, latch on to a team. He'd be perfect at Minnesota.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the veteran quarterback you get. And if Winston's really playing well there, you go with him the way they did with Darnold. That's the type of perfect situation for him.
I agree.
Well, his decision making has to be a whole lot better. And maybe under KOC, it might be because he's supposedly the quarterback whisperer. So we'd have to see on that if that ever happens. All right. So 1:00 slate, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Tennessee Titans. Who you got, Jack?
Yeah, that's the other upset that I was telling you about. I'm going to go with Tennessee. We've talked about Jacksonville being dysfunctional, something about them. Do you really think Tennessee's only going to end the season with one victory? They're going to win a game or two more before the season's over. And who better to beat than the Jacksonville Jaguars? I mean, something about the Jags, you just don't know which Jacksonville Jaguar team's going to show up. The Titans put a little scan to the into the Seattle Seahawks. They only lost by 6 points. Did a lot better than people thought they would. I just get the feeling it's Tennessee's been in some wild games this year. I get the feeling this is going to be another one. I could see them winning a 24-23 type game because something about the Jaguars. I'm just not a believer in them. They got to do something to really make me believe. And I know their record is pretty good at this point. And if Indianapolis slips up, today, they're in the mix for the division title still, along with if the Texans beat, the Colts today. So I'm going to go out on the limb with the Titans.
You got James.
I can't contain my excitement for this premium blockbuster game that's coming up today at 1:00. The Jags are going to win this game. I mean, everything Jack just said. I mean, he likes to be. I think Jack just trying to be controversial for some of the comments he brings out. That's no. The Titans aren't doing anything here, man. The Jags are going to win this game. I think they're in the moment where they're in a situation right now where they got to win these divisional games, and they're just above 2 games above 500. Three games. Excuse me, 7-4, and they're going to be 8-4 today. It's just there's just not enough there for the Titans to try to compete. And I'm not by any means or stretch of imagination a fan of the Jags and how they're the quarterback particularly. I just think that they have enough. They have enough to win this game here, and they're gonna move forward. And in regards to being competitive in this division, they have an opportunity that they're gonna win this game, and because it's gonna be tough. There's 2 divisional games going on today in the AFC South, and that other game we're gonna talk about is gonna be tough, man, defensively, particularly for the Houston Texans against going up against an offense that's supposed to be like majorly impressive, but yeah, Sunshine is definitely overrated. Yeah, I like the Jags in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be fair with Jack about this whole situation because Jacksonville is shaky. They're a shaky team right now. They've been playing good in some games, and other games it's like, dude, what's going on with y'all? And Tennessee has been playing their games professionally. In other words, they've been coming out and playing, for their paycheck, and they're doing a very good job. I mean, there's some games they'll get blown out, but there's other games that they especially home games, they do pretty good at home. And if this is any game that could be picked as a sunshine, this would be the good time for Tennessee to pick the upset or do the upset because, like I said, Jacksonville is probably one of the weaker teams that they have to face. That's kind of like, So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee wins. To tell you the truth, I'm not picking them, but I wouldn't be surprised if they won. I think Jacksonville's going to win this one. It's going to be rough for Jacksonville. I think they're going to win by about 3 points. I think this game's going to be way closer than people are making it out. I just think Jacksonville is not on that steady course yet. I think they're going to be one of the weakest playoff teams too once playoffs start. All right, Jack, you are going to be welcoming the Atlanta Falcons in the Meadowlands against the Jets. Who you got?
Yeah, the Falcons have already let another season get away from them. It happens all year long, and now Kirk Cousins quarterbacking them. I don't know where the Falcons are headed. If they under Raheem Morris, they never had the turnaround. And you hate to see someone lose their job, but maybe they need some new leadership there. They do have the Jet Olaf defensive coordinator, who was their interim head coach, Jeff Ulbrich, who's not doing a bad job with that defense. So he's coming back, to the Meadowlands against the Jets. I mean, it's a toss-up game any way you look at it. I mean, Tyrod Taylor starting for the Jets. What's that accomplishing? I don't know. Outside of maybe wanting to try to win an extra game or two this year. Because if there's any inkling that Tyrod Taylor might be the Jet quarterback of the future, then it's going to be a pathetic future going forward for the Jets. It really is. I think the Jet defense, their front lines played really well. And even with the loss to Sauce Gardner, they kind of compensated with that with Sauce Gardner and Quentin Williams. And I think their defensive unit is fine. And I think this is Aaron Glenn's strength. You know it, Brian, from Detroit. I don't know how involved he is with the defense, but I got to assume it's pretty involved to see the way they're playing. A competitive game. I think the Jets are going to win this one, but it could go either way. Really, it's going to be not a high-scoring game. Something that's going to be like pretty moderate, like 23-16 Jets. I think their defense shows up and wins it for them. And Tyrod Taylor can do just enough. Jets don't have any receivers with Garrett Wilson now. What, Adonai Mitchell, who they got from the Colts? I mean, they want to see whether he develops. Breece Hall has had a really good year. The Jets are going to have a big decision to make, whether to let him go or give him a big contract for a running back. So, that's going to be part of the drama with the Jets going forward the next few weeks. But the Jets, I think, win this one.
What you got, James?
At 2-9, you have that much faith in your Jets to win this game, Jack?
I said it could go either way. I don't have a breakdown. Look, what's the Falcon record? I'm going to be scared of the Falcons. What's their record? 4-7? Are they 3?
Yeah, they're 4-7. You should be scared of everybody.
Who gets scared of a 4-7 team, the Falcons, and a washed-up Kirk Cousins? Come on.
Kirk is not as bad as you're saying. Trust me. I mean, I think Kirk Cousins is just he was hurt last year. And before that, like Keith would always mention, I was to say the same thing myself, is that they played well. And the guy last season, again, before he got hurt, threw for 500 yards against a great Tampa Bay defense.
Because he was playing poorly.
Well, one thing he's not going to lose is his game. And we can put money on it if you want to. I'll put money. He's not going to lose that. They're going to win. They're going to beat the Jets. And I don't know, Monkey, maybe I don't know about 17, but I just think that Bijan Robinson, you guys don't have, you say your defense playing good, but you got to go up against a different running back today. Or Bijan Robinson, he's very good. And I love what you said about Breece Hall. I agree with you. I think, but you also got to face a decent Falcons defense as well. I mean, Tyrod Taylor's going to be running for his life because those bookends are coming, especially Pierce. Pierce is coming on. Trust me, I saw it. I saw it last week with the Saints. That's not saying much. New Orleans is really bad, but with that said, they look good. They don't look like you said in the beginning. They're not really a 4-7 team. I think the leadership is the problem. I think they don't have good coaching. They shouldn't be, because talent-wise, they're there. And I think what you're going to be missing Sauce Gardner and Quentin Williams in this game. That's going to hurt you a little bit, and because I think the run game is gonna be impressive. Because it's not just Bijan Robinson. Tyler Algier is a battering ram. You're gonna get beat up. I think they're gonna run a lot more. And Darnell Mooney is an underrated wide receiver. Are they still missing Drake May? I mean, not Drake May, Drake London.
I think he's out.
Yeah, I think he's out this game.
Yeah, but still, Pitts and Darnell Mooney should help get it done. But I think they're gonna lead Kyle Pitts.
The tight end Kyle Pitts. If I'm the Jets with all my draft capital, I try to work something out for him. If the Falcons would accept a second-round draft pick, one of them that Jerry Jones sent up with the Cowboys, I deal it for Kyle Pitts. I know he's been injured, this and that, but there's a ton of upside.
I agree, but I think the biggest thing is the injuries have really he needs somebody to throw him the ball. I don't know. I don't want to make any more excuses for Kyle Pitts, because again, he's played like he's not a first round draft pick the whole time. So yeah. With that said, I got the Falcons in this game.
When he was first drafted, he was good. So don't say the whole time.
Yeah, he came out the gates. Nobody has tape on him, so of course he's going to be good his first year if he's got any kind of athleticism. I'm also picking the Falcons, and not because I don't feel confident in the Jets winning this game, and I don't feel confident in Atlanta winning this game because they're topsy-turvy too. It's like what Atlanta team are we going to get? And to James' point, the coaching is terrible for Atlanta. They should be a lot better than what their record is stating, but they're not. And the Jets, I would have picked them had they had Justin Fields, but when you put Tyrod Taylor out there, you're just telling me you're kind of giving up a little bit, and I can't condone that type of violence.
You're not giving up as a team, Brian. You're giving up on Justin Fields as far as being your quarterback.
But Justin Fields gives you a better chance than Tyrod Taylor. That's all I'm saying.
I think that's not what Aaron Glenn is thinking. He's thinking Tyrod Taylor gives you a better chance for this particular game. Justin Fields.
He's supposed to be starting for the rest of the season, Jack. He's not starting just one game. He's starting for the rest of the season. That's the point.
I don't think he made that commitment the rest of the year, unless I missed something. I think it's starting now, and we'll see where it takes us.
No, he's going to want to put Justin Fields back in after this game because it's not going to be good for Tyrod.
Yeah.
I don't think this game is going to be a 17-point game like Monkey said. I don't think it's even going to be a 10-point game. It could be from 3-7, Atlanta winning. But, again, that's because of the talent factor for Atlanta. Other than that, I mean, again, the coaching sucks for Atlanta right now, and I just don't have any faith in Tyrod Taylor for the Jets. So I can't see the ball moving up and down the field, especially against that defense.
I guess problems with special teams, too. So we'll see how that pans out. Yeah,
that's true too. But like I said, this game is like one of those. It's like that exciting Jacksonville, Tennessee game. It's going to be just as exciting. All right, but I'm picking Atlanta. Okay, so next we have Sonia's team. The Rams are going to Carolina to take on the Panthers. Who you got, Jack?
Yeah, to simplify it, the Rams are better. They should win the game handily, like 27-10. Look, the beginning of the year, I said the Panthers, I predicted they'd have an 8-9 record. They were going to improve, take a step forward, and they're 6-6. That's what they're approximately going to be, 8-9 when the year's over. I mean, maybe they'll be 9-8, maybe they'll fall and be 7-10, but they're going to be in that vicinity. And the Rams are legitimate Super Bowl contender. Is this a trap game for the Rams? Are they going to be taking the Panthers a little lightly? I don't know. It's possible and all, but not to oversimplify it. The Rams are better in every department. I kind of wonder about Bryce Young, his situation in the off season. Are they going to franchise him? Are they going to put the franchise tag and make him the quarterback long-term, offer him a contract like something like Sam Darnold got? Are they going to move on from Bryce Young? I think Bryce Young, despite all his years with the Panthers, is auditioning for his Panther future the next few games.
You are not making any friends with.
I like that 27-10. I like that Rams over the Panthers. I actually agree with Monkey on that. 27-10 Rams.
What you got, James?
I'm looking for Sonia out there. I don't want to face her wrath and arrows and darts coming my way.
You're on text chat. You're past that now, buddy.
Yes. Look, I guess third time's the charm. I just think it's going to be like a 27-10 game as well. J.C. Horn is out. That's a big loss for the
team in interceptions.
For the Panthers, and the offense coming to town like the Rams coming with Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua, who are both playing.
it's just going to be tough. I just think that's going to be a really bad situation for them. And they're going to go. They're right now they're 500. They're going to go below 500, and so they're in the hunt for the playoffs. But it's going to go a little bit further down. And so I just don't like the game for them. Again, I like the Rams as well.
Realistically, I don't even consider the Panthers in the hunt. Technically, you're right. They're like a half game behind the Buccaneers. When all is said and done, they're not going to come close. Buccaneers will win that division by 3 games. But if the Panthers should upset the Rams today, you got to reevaluate. Got to reevaluate them as far as contending for the division title, especially if the Buccaneers lose. It changes everything, the whole thought process. But the way things stand now, I just think the Rams take care of business today, and Panthers fall to 6 and 7. And there's no disgrace if they don't make the playoffs because the team has already, improved over last year. They have taken a positive step forward.
Yeah, they have some pretty good wins behind them at them being 500. And look at it like this, too. Carolina has a real tough schedule coming up, starting with this game. So, I mean, it depends. I mean, the Rams going from West Coast to East Coast, everybody talks about that all the time, that it's a jet lag for the team that's coming into play. I think the Rams right now are too amped up. I think they're going to be ready to play this game. And I think Carolina's going to give them a test, even with all the injuries that they have on defense right now. I think they'll give them a test because it's in Carolina. They're going to be, hopped up for it. The Rams are one of the best teams in the NFC, if not the best team in the NFC. And I just think that it'll come down. I don't see blowing them out by 17. I don't know about that. But, I mean, Buffalo did it. New England did it. So, I mean, and the Rams, I think, are a better team than both of those teams are. I think because, and also because they have to win these games. That's Carolina's backs against the wall. They got to win these games to get in the playoffs. I see the Rams winning by 10, but I do see the Rams winning. All right. After all is said and done, James's New Orleans Saints are going to Miami to face the angry aquatic animals. Who you got, Jack?
Mike McDaniel might not be on the hot seat anymore. The Miami Dolphin head coach, the talk is that Stephen Ross, the owner, likes him personally, wants him to succeed. And they've won a couple of games in a row. So they're not making the playoffs. They're going to have a losing record when all is said and done. But let's see what they do the rest of the season. And they've got to win games like this for Mike McDaniel to stay on as the coach. Guys, we've had a lot of discussions about top 10 quarterbacks on our show, trying to rate them. Tua's name never comes up in our discussions. His name never comes up, and he's a perennial star in the league. We don't mention him. I mean, is Tua just an average quarterback or what? We talk about the other QBs, but we seem to give Tua like a pass one way or the other. We'll say, he's okay, nothing special. We thought he'd be retired by now with all his concussions. I got to go with the Dolphins in this game in Miami. I mean, I think the Saints in the rebuild the rest of the year. Maybe they won in a rebuild starting the year, but they're in a rebuild, which is a smart thing to do. Get ready for next year. It doesn't mean the players aren't trying, but how the coaching staff is going about things. And listen, both teams are still playing hard this year, trying to be competitive. But I think Miami's a little better. I think their front seven's, better than the Saints. So I'll go with the Dolphins, like a 27-20 score. Good competitive game. Let's see what Tyler Shuck does, whether James will think he's the quarterback of the future or not. He's auditioning, obviously, as well.
Go ahead, James.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. The Saints got a lot going against them, not just being a rebuild. They lost some players. I think a lot of people are losing players right now, but on the offensive line particularly, their right tackle's out. He's been out for a while. Chris Olave may be out. He's questionable with some back issues. Definitely Alvin Kamara is out with the MCL. So that brings about a lot of questions about whether or not someone like Alvin Kamara is going to come back. You know, he'll be 31 next year. He's not quite the same running back he was, but he's still serviceable. But I mean, like you said, they're in a rebuild. In Miami, you're going in Miami, the team, they're 4-7. I think it's just a rebuild, and you're looking towards picking one of the top picks in the draft, if not the second or third. And this is where they are right now. Tyler Shuck, the saving grace to me, what you said about Tyler Shuck, he's auditioning to be the starter. I don't think they're going to draft another quarterback in the first round or a quarterback in the first or second round next year. Because I think Tyler Shuck has shown a good bit that he's shown some flashes that he can be a starting quarterback. And whether or not he's a franchise quarterback, that's to be determined. But they're not going to put him in Miami and win that game. As much monkey as I'd like to squish the fish, I just don't think it's going to happen. I think Miami's going to win that game down there.
Well, if they're truly rebuilding and trying to maybe tear things down a little and build it back up, the two chips, Alvin Kamara reminds me of Deebo Samuel. He's not going to get a high draft pick, maybe a 4th or 5th rounder. Samuel, they got a 5th rounder. Chris Olave is intriguing to me because I look at all the draft capital my Jets have. I would consider giving a number one, a late number one for Chris Olave. Is Chris Olave going to be available?
There was talk about him being available before the draft, before the trade deadline this particular season. They gave up Rashid Shaheed, but they really want to invest into a star wide receiver like Chris Olave. So I doubt that he's going to be available, and his contract year is coming up. So they're going to probably hit him with the 5th year option, which I think they already said they were going to do. And so that gives him another opportunity to make if he continues to show, because right now he's at like 800 yards, I think, something like that. So he's projecting 1,000 for the season again, back to where he was prior to last season with the concussions. No, you don't give up a player like that if you're rebuilding. You got a quarterback you want to be successful. He's one of the key pieces that you want to keep to be able to actually build upon the success that the quarterback is having. So, no, I don't think he's going to go anywhere.
Speaking of which, he will be available in that game. He's questionable, which means he's going to play. So, now my view on this game is that the Dolphins don't have a very good secondary, and this is something that should be exposed by New Orleans. However, at Shane, that dude is balling. If he's the only player in that team, he's the only player in the team balling. And I give it to him because running is everything in football. And if they can control the clock, then that's going to even be worse for New Orleans because they're going to have to start passing the ball. Because is Kamara still out? Is Kamara going to be out?
He's out.
Yes. That doesn't bode well for the Saints.
Devin Hill has been decent. I mean, in the last game he played, he's a good receiving back out of back, and he's also a good blocking back. So that helps as well.
That would be good in your passing game. Because I'm telling you, their defensive secondary is not the greatest, Miami. But in saying that, I think I'm going to have to take the fish too, probably by about a field goal. I mean, again, these are two teams that are just playing for – they're not playing for anything, but they are playing for something. They're playing for their jobs come off season. So I got the Dolphins by 3 in that one. Next game, and I kind of know what Jack's going to go with this one. The Arizona Cardinals are taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, Jack, is this the starting of the Buccaneers' run to the playoffs?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I mean, but the only thing that bothers me, we don't know whether Baker Mayfield's playing for sure. He's available. Baker, but Todd Bowles keeps saying we're waiting. Even Baker said, I want to play, but I understand if they want me to be out one more week, he could be good with it. But I do know this. If Teddy Bridgewater starts and he's struggling, Baker Mayfield comes in. So, it's a relief pitch or whatever. Cardinals have been the single most disappointing team to me in the NFL this year. If I had to say who disappointed me the most just off the top of my head, I thought, they had a good chance of winning their division going into the year. I don't want to hear they lost a lot of close games because the moral victories mean nothing. And I don't see what the Cardinals are building for the future. And with Kyler Murray, he's going to be available for someone somehow. And maybe a team out there who needs a quarterback is going to want to take a chance on him. I was talking to James before about the Vikings with Jameis Winston. Can you imagine Kyler Murray coming to the Vikings? But that can't happen. You want to know why? Now that I think of it, because he's getting big money. So who's going to want to take on that contract? So what's going to happen with Kyler Murray? Can Arizona get rid of him? I don't know even what the deal is. Bucky Irving's going to be back for Tampa Bay, so they're going to run the ball, really run it successfully. Off 3 losses in a row, I can't see him at home. Losing to the Cardinals 4 losses in a row. They might not blow them out, but I look for 28-14 type Tampa Bay Buccaneer win. And they'll win 5 of their last 6 games. How's that, guys? And they'll go into the playoffs with an 11-6 record, and they'll be primed at that point.
Go ahead, James.
Yeah.
They haven't got much of a pass rush, James. I just want to say the Buccaneers. Vita has gotten double teamed a lot, but they'll get there with Todd Bowles, believe me.
Hassan Reddick is questionable too, but he should play, I think,
He's
as
been
well.
questionable the last 3 years. He's questionable when he's healthy. Come on.
Wow.
That's funny
pretty,
as hell,
that's
Jay.
pretty good. I think the biggest issue here is the AC joint injury to Baker Mayfield, and obviously he's a tough player. Baker is a guy. If there's anybody under center that you would want to be the captain of your team, Baker Mayfield is definitely that guy. And that said, I just think like with the addition of Bucky Irving, they're going to win this game. The Cards are probably going to play them tough because they seem to play tough. And they're mercurial. You don't know if they're going to be good, if they're going to be bad. You don't know what's going to happen. They may come out and surprise the Bucs, but I don't see them. I think the Bucs, like you said, make a run. They're going to make a decent run. I just disagree with you about the playoffs. If they had to go into LA and play the Rams, I don't think they'd beat the Rams. If they had to go face the Chicago, maybe if they have to go face Chicago, but I don't see them beating them. I think the Rams are the favorite in the NFC right now.
Not right now. I meant not right now. If the playoffs began, I agree with you. I'm projecting what they're going to be
Right.
going into the playoffs later.
Yeah, I think they're good. I think they're definitely the cream of the NFC South. That's not saying much, but definitely the best team there. But I just don't think they have enough. I think they win this game. I think they win it maybe by 3 or 5 points or so. But not. It's probably going to be a little closer than people think. I think Arizona, they have the talent to be good enough to win games. They just something's off. Something's missing there too. And I don't know. I can't pinpoint exactly what it is. Like you said, I'm not sure what's going to happen with Kyler Murray. He's too expensive to trade. Who's going to want a 5'10" quarterback that's not consistent? That's a very expensive 5'10" quarterback. So I don't know.
There's a little talk, even though people joke about it. There's some seriousness about it. That Kyler Murray might go back to baseball. He was a great prospect, as a shortstop in the Oakland Athletic Organization. So you never know. Kyler Murray might just say, screw it. I have enough money. I want to, be a big league baseball player.
Well, at least that fits in 2 of his things. He can play baseball and make some pretty good money. And then his off season, he don't have to worry about Call of Duty because, baseball has no off Call of Duty is on the off season. So there you go. It works both ways for him. That could be a good one. I'm gonna pick the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Do you realize that after this game, 4 of the next 5 games are against division opponents for Tampa Bay, and the other team they have to play
for them.
The other team they have to play is the Miami Dolphins. So they technically, if they win this game, they can win out.
Yeah.
They can win out. I mean, I don't see. I mean, division games are always those fluctuating things. Atlanta always gives them good runs. It seems like Atlanta last year they beat them twice, but they still won a division. Tampa Bay, that is. So it's weird. But based on what's going on right now with that division, they could win all if they win all these 6 games. Of course.
No, Brian, it's crazy. Hypothetically, the Falcons only 2 games behind the Buccaneers, and they have the games with the Buccaneers, coming up.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, with the schedule, looking at it, logically speaking, Buccaneers had their bad patch. And I picked against them in those games. I said last week, they're losing to the Rams, and it gets started the week after, and this is the perfect game, I think, to regroup it. I think jumpstart their season. I think this game is nearly perfect for them today.
And that's why I think that Baker will come back and go bacon, because they've coming off a bad losing streak right now. They need something to upright. I mean, Tyler Bridgewater is he's a good second string quarterback. As Lions fans, we know that he's come in spells and played pretty well, but and he might even have because of the favorable schedule. It might be even if Baker has to go on they decide Baker needs to go on a long leave of stretch of IR or something like that just to get better for the playoffs.
I wouldn't trust Bridgewater.
Yeah, Bridgewater's he's on that level. He might win a couple of those games, but
I mean, he was good coming out of Louisville with the Vikings his rookie season. He was supposed to be their franchise quarterback. Then he had the horrific injury. He's never been the same since.
That's not true. Bridgewater, I mean, I guess I can attest to, like you mentioned, he was with the New Orleans Saints. He went 4-0 when Drew Brees, he had to spell in for Drew Brees. And he played more than admirably. He wasn't just like managing the game. He actually played pretty good. So he can come in. I mean, I think if the situation's right, and I believe he's with the Bucs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I just think that he wouldn't blow the game for you. He definitely managed the game and get you some win. So it's not like he's some scrub.
No, I mean, he can run an offense. He's been around a while, but I just don't look at him as being an elite backup at this point. He was just coaching high school football. You
telling me you wouldn't take him over Tyrod Taylor?
Football. You don't come off the field from being a high school football coach right into the NFL and start winning games. Come on.
You could.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, talent just doesn't go away. I mean, it's just a matter. I'm not saying that he's going to be in the game throwing 300 yards, 5 TDs, but I'm saying to get you a W, I think he's serviceable enough to do that for that particular team, for the Bucs.
What did he do with the Lions, Brian, when he backed up there?
Well, he came in and played pretty well. I mean, he only came. Goff is not an injury-prone quarterback, so we didn't really get to see a lot of any backup quarterbacks in that time, unless they were, unless Dan wanted to put him in there just to get him some reps or something like that if they were blowing a team out. But other than that, he didn't really have it. When he came in a Washington game and led him down to a touchdown drive when Goff went out with that concussion. So, I mean, he's capable of doing that stuff. And like James said, he was 4-0 when Drew Brees went out. So
okay, maybe I'm wrong about it. Maybe I'm being a little too critical because I remember how good he was his first year with the Vikings too. So maybe I don't think you're necessarily being
wrong about. I don't think you're necessarily being wrong about Teddy Bridgewater. He's still a great backup quarterback. And if you went through that same gauntlet that you're going through now, I could say he could be 4-2, where I think Baker could take him to win all 6 games. But I think that Bridgewater can win you 4 of those 6 games. If he had to start all those 6 games, I think he'd win 4 of those 6. But I think Baker gives you the better chance to win all 6 games. That's all I'm saying. But don't poo-poo Teddy Bridgewater, because he can play.
Okay,
He can play pretty good.
Okay.
I'd take Tyrod Taylor.
I know that's right. Hey, I'd take him over our damn quarterback.
I think he'd have a little more upside than Tyrod Taylor perhaps right now, but I think it's close. That's why. And I'm not excited about Tyrod Taylor, believe me, not at all.
Well, I mean, you're never excited about your backup quarterback until he starts playing. So, I mean, when you get to your second string quarterback, you figure your season's kind of crap anyway because you just
how many
watched
backups do we truly like when you look at all the backups?
I mean, James Winston is probably the
Winston,
one.
and then my man from San Francisco.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah, Mac Jones, the way he's run that offense, yeah, definitely.
And you were right, Jack, about Brissett. I think
that's another one.
Pretty decent. Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't want Brissett to be your franchise quarterback.
No, but you as backup,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, you said backup quarterbacks. That's what we're going by. But yeah,
we got
also
some other
taking
games here. We got some other games we got to get to. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be taking the Bucks in that one too. I think the Bucks will win that one, Baker Mayfield or not. But I think Baker Mayfield's playing, and they'll probably go to the running game. So because they got their guy back, San Francisco 49ers are going to Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns today. Who you got there, Jack?
We hear that Kevin Stefanski say there's an open line to starting Shedeur Sanders. It's going week to week. If Shedeur Sanders has a bad game, he's not starting next week. Dylan Gabriel is. It's a question, okay, you won a game last week or the team won. As long as the team gets a W today, Shedeur Sanders could throw 2 interceptions and complete passes for a total of 62 yards. He'll be back the following week. People are going to look at the W. Unless Shedeur plays great and the Browns lose. I got to believe that, Kyle Shanahan, who's a darn good coach. I mean, Robert Saleh, their defensive coordinator, he's going to be ready for Shedeur Sanders. He's not going to beat him. And they should win the game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, actually, because Cleveland's defense isn't bad at all. And I got to go with the 49ers visiting Cleveland, winning the game something like 16-13. I mean, and I think Robert Saleh, former Jet coach, is going to be a head coach again next year. There'll be an opening. I think he's going to be rehired.
James?
Yeah. I like what you said there, Jack. You eloquently just put it out there about what you think about the 49ers defense and their coaching. But you're missing some points there. I think that you're looking at a quarterback that's building on confidence. You're building on the win. I think Shedeur Sanders he's going to make mistakes. He's a rookie. And I think Salah is going to have a really great game plan. But at the same time, there are some deficiencies on both sides of the ball for the 49ers. And when I say deficiencies, people who aren't there. You have a lot of injuries that are still, plaguing them. And having a defense on both sides, both the 49ers has a really good defense, but I think right now the confidence is what's missing. What was missing for the 49ers is more confidence in the defense for the Browns. Look who's on a tear. Myles Garrett is really tearing up everything right now. And he's got 18 sacks. I think he's going to get a couple more of this game. And he's probably going to get that record by the end of the season. There's a lot of games left to really get, to hit that record. He needs 4.5 right now. In a matter of that time, I think he's going to get that in the next few games. But back to Shedeur Sanders, I just really think that his confidence, as the defense continues to give him opportunity,
that's going to give him more opportunity to be more confident and to show his skill set and to hone his skill set. That they have talent on the team. I think wide receivers that are there decent enough. You saw what he was going to do with that 52-yard pass. I mean, that's just talent. It had nothing to do with a game plan. That's just a guy that knows how to roll out and I'm going to hit this guy. Because I saw some game film on this. There were 2 plays where the Raiders had this backed up, had their defense all the way at the front of the line, and they were trying to stop him. So they stopped him on the first place. The next play is that was where the rollout came. And so to me, that tells me he sees the game. Is it slowing down for him? We'll see with this defense. But I'm going to take this as my upset special. I'm going to say that the Browns win a very close game in this one at home.
Okay, I got San Francisco in this one by about 3 points. I think it's going to be like a close game, like Jack said. It's going to be real close. Defenses are going to play extraordinary. I think the thing that you have to also learn about this whole situation is George Sanders doesn't have much NFL tape to go by, so it's going to kind of throw a little bit of a monkey wrench in whatever Salah throws out there. Although I think that he'll get the job done. But don't discount Shedeur Sanders in this game for making some good plays. He'll make some good plays. I just don't think they have the coaching. I think the coaching is better on San Francisco. I think the players are a little bit better on San Francisco. That's the only reason why I feel they're going to win by 3 points. Next game, we got the Houston Texans going to Indianapolis to play the Colts. Big divisional game. Who you got, Jack?
Yeah, we have a few games, so I'm not going to take long on any of the games, let's just time at the very end. I mean, this is it. I mean, I think Keith asked me the other day if Daniel Jones has a big game against that Houston Texan defense, which in my opinion is the best defense in the NFL at the moment. Does he make a believe out of me? Yeah, if he goes out and wins the game, because they're going to be stacked up, the Houston defense, to stop Jonathan Taylor from running the ball. And they're going to make Daniel Jones try to beat him. But with that said, the Colts have a darn good defense themselves. Daniel Jones doesn't have to play a great game. I think it's going to be a defensive tight game for the most part. Special teams might play a role. I like Indianapolis at home to beat Houston 20-15. To beat the Colts 20-15. I mean, like the Colts to beat Houston 20-15. But if the Colts stumble in this game and lose, a division that they had locked up about 3 weeks ago is in play.
Mm-hmm. What you got, James?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Colts have to bounce back. Jonathan Taylor has to get back in the running. It's going to be a tough sledding going up against that defense in Houston Texans. I just think that they are going to bounce back because there are a lot of weapons on that offense. And don't put the game in Daniel Jones's hands. I think you have to really depend and give your running back a lot of carries. You got to feed him and give him the ball. But I think they're going to do that, and I think they win a close game at home. I think the Colts win this one.
Yeah, I'm going Houston in this one because they got the number one defense. All you got to do is stop Jonathan Taylor in that line. And every team that stopped Jonathan Taylor from getting 100 yards has won the game. So if you want to stop, you got to make Daniel Jones be the guy that wins through the game. And he hasn't done it yet. So until that happens, you stop Jonathan Taylor and you force Daniel Jones to pass in that game. And I think that Houston has just this is one of the best defenses I've seen in a long time. Now, it's not record breaking or anything like that, but they put consistent pressure on you. They shut down a lot of things in a defensive backfield as well. They got great corners. Their linebackers are mediocre, but they play into what the defensive line does. So I just don't see Indianapolis winning this game. I got Houston by 3, and C.J. Stroud is coming back, by the way, in this game. So that'll be helpful for him. All right, Minnesota at Seattle. This is the Sam Darnold Bowl, as I like to call it.
Yeah, it's probably going to pain the Viking fans a bit if Sam Darnold has a big game. He beats their team. They're going to wonder, why they didn't stick with Sam. I don't want to hear the second guessing. Sam played 2 terrible games in a row. after being magnificent for most of, the season. The two bad games at the end of the year with the Vikings, last regular season and playoff game. They could have franchised them technically. They didn't want to. They wanted to go with J.J. McCarthy. There wasn't an uproar about it. Let's just say that. So I don't want to hear the uproar now. Seattle exceeded expectations to me. I thought the Vikings would take a big step back, and they have taken a big step back. I mean, I got to go with Seattle at home with Sam Darnold, to win this game. I don't think Sam Darnold is mad at the Vikings. There's even a little talk about Sam Darnold maybe going back to the Vikings, but his contract with Seattle, from what I understand, was for 3 years where they could get out of it after 1 year. So I don't know what the contract says, but in any event, Seattle is just too well-rounded at this point of the year to lose to the Vikings. And I feel bad for Justin Jefferson. He's disappeared this year. And going into the season, I thought he was the best receiver in the NFL.
So those two games that Sam Darnold blew, I mean, they were pretty bad. But you can't discount the rest of that season that he had. I mean, it was incredible. And he hadn't had any season like that. And I think the best marriage that would have been was Kevin O'Connell and Sam Darnold. And it's clearly seeing that Sam Darnold, of the two the two quarterbacks, the better option is Sam Darnold in Seattle right now. And I think he's going to show them, like, okay, you missed out. I think he, instead of throwing 4 or 5 interceptions like he did the previous game, not the last game he played, but the previous game before that, he's probably going to throw 4 or 5 touchdowns. And I think that the Vikings are going to continue to spiral out of control. And I just, again, have no faith in J.J. McCarthy. I like the Seahawks in this one with the win at home.
All right, so J.J. McCarthy won't be playing in this game. Rookie Max Bosmer will be playing from the University of Minnesota. I think that no tape is out on him either, so this might be one. You never know. I kind of like Max. I think he was pretty good in college. He wasn't great. He wasn't, John Elway, Dan Marino great, but he's a pretty good quarterback coming out of college. But in saying that, you still have the Seattle defense, who was pretty strong, and they're getting back a lot of their secondary. The running game still got to find a spot, but other than that, JSN, that's all I got to say about that whole situation. I think Seattle kind of wins this handily by about 10 points, maybe 14. So, yeah, I got the good old Seattle Sea Chickens. All right, next game. Buffalo Bills at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who you got, Jack? Okay. You're on mute, Jack.
An intriguing game in the sense, with Aaron Rodgers. We don't know what to make out of him going forward the rest of the year. I mean, he's been serviceable. He's been okay with the Steelers. But he slipped under the radar. Buffalo is, they're going to be a wild card team the way it looks, and it's an unaccustomed position for them. I just think the Bills are a better team, and they should win this game something like 26-17. If they lose this game, the Steelers' record is even at that point, and you wonder whether Mike Tomlin's seasonal winning streak, that's something like 17 years in a row or so, is going to be in serious jeopardy. But the Bills should win this one with a little room there because they're just a better team.
What you got there, James?
I got the Bills. I just don't have trust and faith in the Steelers right now. And mind you, if they had a really good running game, they could really make some things happen against the Bills because the Bills don't have a good rush defense. They haven't had all season. But I just don't see it happening. I think Josh Allen is going to go in Pittsburgh and get this win. This is, again, a very pivotal game for both. We're talking about playoff contention here. If you're the Bills, you got to really put everything on your quarterback's back. You can't, you're in a race right now in the AFC, and you can't go any further than 7-4. But I think the Bills win this one.
Yeah, I got the Bills winning too. I think this kind of a similar game to the Indianapolis game that they played in Pittsburgh, where Pittsburgh dominated. But in a different case, that was Daniel Jones. You got to face Josh Allen. So even if you stop the run, you still got to stop Josh Allen, and I don't think they can do that. So I got Buffalo by a touchdown in this one. All right, Raiders going to the LA Chargers. Who you got, Jack?
I like the Chargers in this game, even though their offensive line is a complete mess. And I don't think Joe Alt's coming back the rest of the year, if I'm not mistaken. That's pretty bad. The Chargers are 7-4, but they seem to be a struggling, stinking team. But I have faith in Jim Harbaugh. They'll keep it together. And maybe the Raiders pull an upset, but, changing the offensive coordinator this week. But I just think that the way the Raiders are going, how can you pick them to beat anyone right at the moment? Chargers 26-14. That would be a loose prediction if I had to make one.
I'm going to go with the Chargers as well. Even though they're having an abysmal time on their offensive line, their running backs are out. They still got the Vidal, excuse me. But Trevor Penning, the guy that came from New Orleans, that he's having a bad time. He was starting at left tackle. He got
like you predicted.
He got pulled, and he's not even starting anymore. And so it's just not a good situation for them. But
they already pulled Penning.
Yes, they already pulled him, and they're starting with another guy, Jamari.
That's sad.
Salyer, I forgot he's a start. So yeah, I knew that it was going to happen.
You called it. Kudos to you, James. You laughed about the pickup when they got him.
That's sad.
But I like the Chargers still. It's saying that the Raiders are just that bad. So I like the Chargers.
Yeah, I'll take the Chargers. They're coming off a bye anyway. The Raiders are on disarray. They got rid of their offensive coordinator. Who knows what the heck's going to happen now? The only two players I really feel that are playing really hard for the Raiders right now are Max Crosby and Genty. I just don't think anybody else is playing too hard for the Raiders right now. So yeah, I got the ex-San Diego Chargers winning by about 10 points. Yeah, I think they're going to kind of destroy the Raiders. Denver Broncos are going to the Washington Commanders.
Yeah,
who do you got, Jack?
I like what Sean Payton, the message he's giving to Denver. They know they're going to go to the playoffs. They want the bye badly. He keeps stressing how important it is. Only one team gets a bye. That's their goal, and in good position to get that bye. So I don't think they stumble against this Commander team. That's basically given up. They've basically given up the Commanders. I don't see any fight in that team at all. And with Marcus Mariota, their backup there, it's a lost season for the Commanders. Denver should win. At Washington, maybe the Commanders, are competitive and they lose a 30-20 type game. I don't see them having enough fight in them to upset Denver.
There would have to be a total and utter collapse defensively for the Broncos to lose this game. There's no way they're going to lose this game. I was not going to say I'm going to bet my life on it. I need to be alive here to take care of my family. But but with that said, I just really think that the Broncos are just they're playing with I don't like their offense too much. It's okay. It's decent enough, but you can do enough with the running back they have with R.J. Harvey, run the game, manage with the quarterback. He's actually having a decent season. I'm not going to lie. He's actually with Bo Nix. He has a decent season, but I don't think that it's great, but it's enough to just take out the Commanders, take them out of their misery. They're not good. They're going to be 3-9 at the end of this game.
The Commanders' only good news out this week is that Scary Terry is coming back. Jaden Daniels is a game time decision. There's Terrell's thinking about whether they want to start him or not, so he'll be a game time decision. I feel that if it's a game time decision, he'll probably start. But also, Patrick Surtain is coming back for the Broncos, so that shuts the Terry Scary thing down all the way. And so I don't give Washington any inkling of hope to win this game. And no, I'm not putting my life on the line on either. But I think Denver is going to win this one by significant numbers. I think even more by 9, Monkey. I think they'll probably win by about 13, 14 points. So I got Denver in that. Real quick before we get off the show, Lane Kiffin has met and reportedly threatened to take the rest of the offensive staff with him to LSU immediately. So he's countering whatever Ole Miss is throwing out there. So Ole Miss is making threats. So he's making threats of his own.
And so I saw that they're going to push the team meeting back. It was supposed to go at 10 this morning, but it's not going to happen until later. Boy, the drama just keeps on unfolding right now.
Yeah. Well, I hope Lane Kiffin makes the right decision for himself and the family. And that's all you can really hope for. You know, these schools got plenty of money. You just got to deal with it. That's all there is to it. You know, these folks got to do what they got to do what's best for them. On that note, everybody have a great rest of your Sunday. Watch the games. I know some of them are like boring as hell, but watch the good games. And we will check you out next Sunday at 8:00 a.m. And tomorrow is the Jack and Keith weekend playbook at 8:00 a.m. And at 7 it is Jack with special guest with Frank, and we will have that at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everybody have a very good rest of your day. Peace out.